guys, Ian here from Mid-America Prep. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Today's video I'm going to be talking about a couple of very important aspects when you come to the Second Amendment here in America. Firearm safety and firearms training. Two things that go hand in hand, but so many people kind of dismiss one, the other, or both of them. Now we're going to talk about firearms training real fast. Firearms training can stem from anywhere from the novice shooter to the experienced shooter. From the novice shooter that's never seen, touched, or heard a firearm go off, to the experienced shooter who has had, 20, 30 years of law enforcement service or military service, to the individual who grew up shooting firearms with grandpa and dad, and they started shooting when they're 5 years old with a .22, as myself. I was very young when I started shooting. To the person who actually goes to a training facility as a first-time gun owner or an experienced gun owner. There are training facilities all over the United States. There's some that are great facilities, but they have bad reputation, and there's others that have, are just bad facilities and they have great reputation. It's kind of like, which one do you go to? And then there's facilities all over the place that kind of take the people from the bad facilities and then the great facilities, and they bring them both in, and they kind of show them what the bad facility did or the great facility did and equalize their training. Now there's people out there on Facebook that show training all the time, and they are definitely not training, and I can't remember that guy's name, but he's a horrible individual, horrible training, and not safe. So anyways, so I'm going to be posting a video up here in this corner here in just a second about a video that was shared on Facebook and YouTube about a year to year and a half ago about a training facility, and people are saying it was extremely unsafe. Now, I don't know how unsafe this video or this training facility actually is. I have not been there, but I have been following the page for quite some time, and I'll be showing that video in just a second, like I said. So before we get there, we need to talk about safety, firearm safety, and the 4 rules to firearm safety. There are only 4 rules in firearm safety, and if anybody else tells you that there are more than 4 rules, they're making stuff up and probably just reiterating one of the 4 rules. So number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded. The most dangerous gun is an unloaded gun. So every firearm within my safe or around my house is loaded at all times, whether there's a bullet in the chamber or not. I don't know how many times I've walked into a gun shop and somebody walks in behind me with a gun in a case and they want to sell it or trade it in for another firearm, and the gun shop owner goes and checks the firearm, and guess what? There is a bullet in the chamber. My local gun shop actually has a bucket, a milk jug they've cut open, and there's probably 3/4 of that milk jug full of rounds that were, taken from unloaded guns. What the heck, guys? Not safe at all. Number 2, you never want to point your firearm at anything you wish not to destroy. So, of course, I don't want to destroy my camera here, but I'll do it for, safety's sake. When I take my firearm right here, which is a loaded concealed carry firearm, this is my FNF and S9, that's what I've been carrying today. My magazine's here, and I'm going to unload it for you guys who are safety Nazis. My round just fell on the ground. So many people freak out about this, right there. Understandably so. You don't want to point your firearm at nothing you wish not to destroy. So, that right there, in my sense, this is a clear room. There's nothing behind me that I will destroy besides that camera. So that goes to the next thing. Keeping your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Did you see that right here? At all times. The biggest safety on a firearm is right here, between your ears. Now that's why so many people get upset about Glocks, and there's no external safety. Well, if you keep your finger off the trigger, and your trigger controller up there, in set and in mind, you don't need that safety. So keeping your finger off the trigger at all times will keep it from firing. Now, 4th rule to firearm safety, knowing your target and what's behind it. So let's go ahead and we'll watch this video real fast, and I will see and I'll comment after the video is done playing as to what I think should or should have not happened.
All right, start moving. Walk normally. Walk. Walk. Break! All right, when you stop moving, them off.
Yeah. Then you shoot. You shoot. You shoot. I
Keep
got
the
you.
gun out.
You shoot. There's two of us. That's how we're going to work it. You shoot. No.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, here you go.
All right, body says scan, top them off. Keep.
Okay, so as you saw there, that video was posted on Facebook, what was it? I would say at least a year to year and a half ago, which I already said that, but that was a tactical response in Camden, Tennessee. James Yeager has that reputation of being a horrible trainer in a horrible facility, and you know what? When I get the minute to get there, I will go and I will spend as much money as I can from my bank account with tactical response and training with James Yeager and his crew. Now, what we saw there was the 4 golden rules of firearm safety, and not one of them was broken. Now, when you're at a range, so many people think of training as just shooting a static target, static paper target, just downrange, one bullet at a time. And then we call a cold range. Everybody puts their firearms down, unloads them, and we walk to the target, or the targets come to us. So many people train indoors, and all they have is, a 3 or 4 foot lane, and they think that's the only thing they can train with, is right there. So many people want to stand on a flat ground, and so many people want to shoot straight, and they don't want to, worry about anything else that may actually happen in a gunfight. So what actually happened in that video? You saw a line of individuals. So when you're shooting on a range with individuals, you have 180 degrees here. You actually only have straight in front of you, and probably 10 degrees either way if you're laying and you're walking to shoot. So what happened in this video was this individual was in a wheelchair, which why would a handicapped individual have any less ability to train than me, who is not handicapped? Why should they be, pushed down and said, well, you're now a target, you can't defend yourself? Yeah, the range is dirty. People always call tactical responses range dirty, and they need to clean it up. Well, I don't plan on every gunfight, or if I ever get in a gunfight, I'm not going to say, hey, stop the gunfight real fast, we need to clean this ground up. There's rock here, we can't train here. Or, I don't plan on just getting in a gunfight in the middle of a street that's freshly paved and flat as can be. Okay? I don't plan on standing there and saying, oh, shoot me, I want to shoot you back. I plan on moving and getting out of my way, out of the way of the shooter to shoot back. I plan on having obstacles to train around, okay? So many people think that standing on flat, smooth concrete and shooting a paper target downrange is training. Yes, this individual who in the wheelchair may not ever get in a self-defense situation where he's, in the grass or in gravel and he's by himself. He may not do that. But to leave him defenseless because his situation like that may never occur is crap. Now, it's like saying, well, you're never going to drive on gravel, so I don't want you to train on gravel. I don't want you to take your car out and drive on a gravel road and actually see what could happen. Now, they aren't the exact same thing, driving and shooting a firearm, but there's no reason why this individual who's in a wheelchair can't train as he did. All right, so let's talk about the 4 safety rules and whether they were broken or not, okay? So the 4 rules: treating all guns as if they're loaded, never pointing your firearm at anything you don't wish to destroy, keeping your finger off the trigger, and knowing your target once beyond it. And I can tell you, just watching this video, I don't see any of those being broken. You can clearly see that everybody's guns were loaded, and the shooter knew his guns were loaded. And you can see that he was pointing downrange, and whether there's lines on the ground or not, he was in his lane. He was pointing at his target, and he knew there was a burn behind there and wasn't going to do anything else. Okay, his finger was off the trigger when he wasn't ready to shoot, and then he shot, as you can see here. And he knew that target. He wished to destroy it, and he shot it. So, love it or hate it, tactical response is on my list. But the 4 rules to gun safety weren't broken, and the facility is a great facility with good and bad reputations. It depends on who you talk to. But the people who you talk to who think tactical response is a horrible facility have never trained, never trained a tactical response, and never will. But I'll give them a chance. I'll give anybody a chance. So anyways, keep calm and carry on, guys. Stay safe. See you later.